And as the fall to winter contingent makes the search for content more elusive and quixotic, we must, on occasion, traverse the darkest dregs of American late capitalist humanity. We must valley, vision, and vault to the grimmest of realities. Some might even say hologram reality, whose emphasis on traditional values and traditional logos was farmed and paid for by bots. Thank you for being here. My name's Jus, and you are watching Peak Merch. Let's crack some barrels, folks. And yeah, for those not into my esoteric wordplay, long story short is that Cracker Barrel tried to rebrand without this man with the barrel, who I guess to some is a paragon of traditional, like, white American old-timey genteelness. And then it came out like a few weeks later, the social analytics company Peak Metrics found that like close to 50% of, like 49 point something percent of the responses that were calling for a boycott of Cracker Barrel were either bots or likely to be bots, you know, citing things like repeated messages and, you know, consistent language and choices. And it goes to show a few things, but, you know, let's hop in, see what we can find, have a few thoughts of my own, and we'll talk after. Sound good? Uh-oh. I better be careful. Cracker Barrel. And as the air smells of porky greens, we look at some Christmas merchandise. Already 30% off. This happy fella. And this dog. I don't get it. Son of a nut. Aren't we all? A lot of great ornaments. More Home Alone ornaments each year. I think it's the anniversary, maybe the 30th anniversary of Home Alone. Leave a comment down below if I know what I'm talking about. Shalula ornament's pretty sick. 50% off. $9. It's $4.50. Can't really beat that. And I did cave on 2 ornaments. I thought they were cute. But yeah, alas, we keep moving. And you know, for how homespun it is and how much of being like the neighborhood place it markets it as, there's so much IP here at Cracker Barrel, right? Like these magnets. Okay, fine, Deadpool minions. Garfield ornament is sick, but like, I guess my point is, like, okay, there's 3 enamel pins, 2 enamel pins in the whole place. You got a Spider-Man down here, and you got a Grogu. I mean, missed opportunity with the enamel pin game. What if Cracker Barrel partnered with local places and had the merch of the, like, a better version of the merch of the town, or the merch of the area? It would be so easy to do. Logistically, maybe something to set up on the front end. But then you could actually promote yourself as a community steward instead of just like a weird conglomerate playing like New York at Christmas in your hometown general store. You know what I'm saying? And some people say traditional values. This is what they mean. It's like a whole start 'em young mentality that I don't really subscribe to, but, you know, the world is broken. I do like these large bananas, which I have seen somewhere else. I do like this squishy chicken leg too. I mean, that might have to happen. It's pretty vile, but it's also pretty on brand. And I got to admit, I did not know that jam bands were getting into the toy making game. But here we are, Twiddle Snake. At least that's what I think it is. Twiddle Platypus. Hold the phone. Platypus. Yes, I know how to pronounce platypus. This is wild. $25 for the 29-piece deluxe Cracker Barrel play set. You could make your own fake Cracker Barrel breakfast at home, and it comes with an apron. Fancy that. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. A lot of people think other people invented the culture wars, but Buff Baby. Yeah, Buff Baby. Or Chill Baby. Or John Deere baby clothes. Very interesting, very interesting. Again, I don't agree with this phrase, but ironically at least the phrase "start 'em young" comes to mind. So, hear ye, autumnal candies 50% off. The peelers really came and went as a trending candy. Candy corn, you'll never be fully appreciated by people who don't know what mallow cream is. And I gotta say, these Tootsie Roll Harvest Chews, I'm not getting them today, but I've had them before. Solid. 50% off, $3 for that bag. You get caramel apple, candy corn, and pumpkin spice chews. And cinnamon, I think, too. So I'm just saying, if you like those flavors, you like Tootsie Rolls, you like these. Also, I did find some more enamel pins. Oh, here they are. One on the right's a lot. But yeah, there you go. Also, who's Lainey Wilson? Obviously, I know who the Dead are, but Lainey Wilson. Maybe I'm just old. Some of these little salt and pepper shakers are cool. Credit where credit's due. What are these little salt and pepper, like butter dish type shakers, and diners, and jukeboxes? Oh Lord. Also, kind of into this Garfield fridge magnet. Clean. Sticks on any surface. And it's double-sided. The other side says dirty. Might have to pull the trigger there. I shouldn't say that in a Cracker Barrel. I gotta say too, like Cracker Barrel's private labeling with all this penny candy is an example of how sometimes when you take a snack under your own supply chain, it's not as good. Case in point, these gummy berries, because dare they be called French berries, which is what they're called anywhere else in a candy store. I had them when I was here a few weeks ago. And guess what? They're not good. So, I don't know. That's at least the Mike and Ike Mega Mix. We know that's good. We like Mike and Ike. 3 for $7 isn't a bad price, though. We'll see what happens. And by the way, same thing can be said about the peanut brittle and the pecan log, both of which I've gifted. Actually, no, not the brittle, just the pecan log. Gifted some to Ham, and she said, you know what? This ain't a Stuckey's pecan log. So I don't know what's happening, Cracker Barrel, but your tastes are inconsistent. Chocolate peanut butter fudge. This is good, though. I have been hovering on this for a minute. Or salted caramel fudge. I'll make some choices and get out of here. Yeah, I didn't even get to show you the other Cracker Barrel merch. I was here 2 weeks ago, and they had a ton of hats and shirts. There was a giant sort of holiday truck, like a semi, with the Cracker Barrel insignia, all of it old, like we saw in the breakfast set and the salt and pepper shakers, but it was just an example of how much this is a branding exercise. The fact that there was a fake outrage to boycott them for changing the logo meant there was somebody with a vested interest in farming all this crap, all this outrage, because they wanted it to appear like there was more of a camp for traditional values than there perhaps actually was. And that's the thing about all this corn pone outrage, right? It's real, but it's not as big as you think. The narratives that you see of a return to traditional American values were based on something real, but they are now a hologram of profiteers and conflict entrepreneurs, the same way that the image of the American West was. That's why we like Deadwood, right? It's not as romantic as one might think. And you got to start thinking about these places, the same way. Cracker Barrel. That said, I still spent some money. I got some toys, some treats, some snacks. Unfortunately, this will probably all be nothing but critic feed, but, I've got to say, we have scraped the bottom of the Cracker Barrel. I told Hannah I would say that's our line. She gets full credit. We will not be buying a rocking chair today, but our return to traditional American values will be in the pointing out of the cultural trends and the kitsch and the late capitalism and how they talk to one another, because I think this stuff is important. If you made it this far, I trust you do too. And of course, if you made it this far, I've been just, you've been patient, and you've just watched Peak Merch. See y'all later now.